Hello, and welcome everyone to the third episode of our five-part webinar series on how delayed decision-making impacts the pillars of the digital customer journey. My name is Dylan Smith, and today we're diving into a topic that might not be top of mind for every business leader, but is nevertheless a critical component of effective account management. We're going to be talking about how login friction cuts down loyalty. Now, we all know it's far more cost effective to keep an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one. And this is true for every business in every industry, but particularly so for industries like telco, financial services, travel and hospitality, things like that, where in some cases, a single poor experience can send a customer running to a competitor for life. And we all know this is true. We know this is true because we've been there as consumers ourselves, right? Some of the brands that I buy from, I've been buying from for decades. And if I decide to switch to a different airline or hotel or a different car brand or even something smaller like a running shoe or in my case, maybe a climbing shoe, which is my activity of choice. If I make that switch, those brands have not only lost a customer, but they've gift wrapped to one of their direct competitors, someone who's going to fly hundreds of more flights, right? Or buy dozens more pairs of climbing shoes over the course of their life. Now, some companies will just accept this churn as a given, that customers will come and go and you will replace a lost one with one from one of your competitors. But if you're here with this conversation, then that means it's probably not you, right? And that brings us to pillar number 3 of the 5 pillars in the digital customer journey, account management. This pillar is all about focusing on those returning customers and their digital experience. So this is everything from logging into a platform and managing a profile to making new bookings, purchases, upgrades, things like that. And the problem that teams that focus on account management have with getting even the basics right, things like helping customers quickly log in, is that these teams often have to rely on anecdotal complaints. The anecdotal complaints that they hear from things like surveys or customer calls, but they really lack the data to deeply understand the problem, right? So how many people are experiencing this issue that you're hearing about? What is its root cause? Its why behind why it's happening? And this is what leads many into the trap of what we call delayed decision making. It's that critical delay between you just starting to hear about a problem coming about and actually taking action on it with confidence. So to help illustrate the real world impact of this, I'd like to introduce Lindsay Carder. Lindsay, if you could join me on our little digital stage here. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Dylan.
Lindsay is a leader on our customer success team. She and her colleagues work with quantimetric customers each and every day to help them understand the data that's being generated by their digital experience and how to use that data in order to improve the experience. So Lindsay, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I understand that you have a story about a quantum customer that really speaks to how making faster decisions can help with account management. Is that something you can share with us today?
Sure is. So before I share that story, I just want to note that when we're talking about the pillar of account management, what we're really talking about is taking care of your existing customers, right? So these are your most valuable asset. And when the foundational flows that they're going through are broken, this really puts all of the investments that you've made into benefits and loyalty, it puts all of that at risk, right? So this is exactly what happened with a global airline that we worked with. So the challenge that they were facing was that they were hearing all of this anecdotal feedback from their customers that they were having trouble logging in to their site. And so when you can't log in, you can't book a flight, you can't check your miles, you can't see all of the benefits of these years or months of loyalty that you've put into this particular airline or brand. And so not being able to do that was really causing a lot of friction for these customers. I know if it were me and I was facing this problem, I might go and book with another airline. And so frustration is mounting, it's growing, it's building. And the teams at this global airline, they were aware of the problem, but they couldn't get aligned on the facts And that really, really caused a delay in decision making. And so they didn't understand the scope of the problem. They didn't understand what the underlying root cause was. And so they couldn't get their leaders to take action. But with quantum metric, they were able to dig in deeper and they were able to see how many sessions were being impacted and which sessions in particular. And so in this case, it was almost a quarter of all of the negative voice of customer feedback that they had been getting was tied to these login issues that customers were having. So a pretty significant issue across all of their loyal customers. And so once they dug in even further, they were able to realize that the root cause of this problem was that their internal security system was being a little bit too aggressive, and it was identifying these customers as fraudulent or bots when they in fact were not, and it was locking them out of their accounts. And so once the leadership at this airline was able to get all of these facts and all this information and get on the same page, they were able to make a decision much more quickly to resolve the issue. And so what they did was they loosened the restrictions a little bit on the security system, enabling folks to log in and balance a secure experience with a frictionless one. And so that's really the benefit and the power of the quantified why, is getting all of these different teams and leaders on the same page so that they can make decisions faster. And in this case, to the benefit of your most loyal customers.
So this is a group of super loyal customers of this airline, right? These people have logins. They're really trying to get in. They're trying to go through the whole forgotten password situation so that they come back, book more flights, whatever they need to do. But the system's not treating them like loyal customers, right? The system's treating them like bots in this case. And so if I understand it, it wasn't until the team that focused on this issue got the right data, got the right information, that they could actually align and quickly take that action that they did. Great story. Thank you, Lindsay, for sharing that with us. And I think that this story does a really good job of illustrating what we do mean when we talk about the quantified why, right? It's not only seeing how many people are experiencing an issue, but it's also getting to the root cause or the why behind it so that you can solve it and really, really fix that issue. So thank you again for sharing that and for joining me today. For those of you at home, if you'd like to learn more about how you can make faster decisions and take more decisive action to improve your account management experience, please join us at quantummetric.com and check out the product tours section of the website. In particular, there's one in there on empathizing with customers and their experience with session replay that I think y'all should check out. Thank you again for joining us, and be sure to join us for the other episodes in our 5-part series on delayed decision-making and the 5 pillars of the customer journey. We'll see you next time.